to my channel. If you all are new here, hi, my name is Laura. I am currently 36 weeks pregnant with our little boy. He is due in the end of August 31st. We are so excited, we can't wait there. I've been documenting my journey through pregnancy a little bit here on my YouTube channel, so you can go and click on those if you haven't seen them quite yet. I will make sure to link them up in the cards for you. I make a little bit of lifestyle vlog kind of videos, some cleaning motivation, and most recently my mommy content. So today is perfect for those mommies out there or those who just may be a little bit hungry, because I seriously need to do some snack prepping right now. We are in crunch time. Baby can come at any time, I think. My husband is super convinced that he is going to come early, and I'm starting to believe him. So we are in crunch time and I need to start prepping some snacks for when I am nursing baby or when I'm just hungry and I need a quick little bite to eat. So that is what we're going to do today. If you enjoy these kind of videos, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, as well as hit the subscribe button and notification bell down below as well, so you are notified of every time I upload a video. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so to start, I have 5 snacks that I'm going to be making in this video. I have apple cinnamon muffins, banana walnut muffins, and then I have pumpkin muffins. Those are going to be my favorite. I'm so excited to make those. And I'm also going to be making some kind of peanut butter oat energy bites, as well as some, I believe they're pumpkin lactation cookies specifically. These will be good for anyone to have, not necessarily if you're going to be breastfeeding or exclusively pumping. You can have these to increase your milk supply. These are all containing with no Brewer's yeast. I'm using some substitutions for those just because it's a little bit harder to find. But let's start with the apple cinnamon muffin. So to begin, in here I am going to be putting my oats and my walnuts. If you want the measurements for all the ingredients, I will have it listed down in the description box below, as well as the link as to where I found the recipe. So in my NutriBullet, I'm going to put my oats and my walnuts. And we're going to be grinding this until it forms a sort of coarse meal consistency. So in your blender, you can be using a food processor, a blender, or your NutriBullet. I'm going to be using a NutriBullet right here, as you can see, but you want to make sure that you are just pulsing this. You don't want to overmix it to turn it into kind of like a walnut butter. You don't want that. You just want it to resemble coarse cornmeal. And what I like to do is just take it off, give it a little shake, a little tap to get it off of the sides of the container, and just pulse it again about 2 to 3 times. Perfect. So we are just going to set that aside. Make sure all the goodness comes off of the blades as well. You don't want to leave any of that oatmeal-y walnut goodness behind. Next, we're going to grab a medium bowl and combine all of our dry ingredients. So we have our oatmeal and walnut mixture, our flour. In this cup I have my baking powder, baking soda, salt. I'm using cinnamon. I'm making a little bit of a tweak on this recipe. I'm putting cinnamon instead of pumpkin pie spice. And then I have my flaxseed. And then in this recipe, I substituted the Brewer's yeast for just some more flaxseed. So that's all going to be going in here. And then we're just going to give it a quick whisk, just to combine the dry ingredients. And again, with this, we're just going to set it aside. Now we're going to switch over to my stand mixer right here. You don't have to use a stand mixer. You can just mix it by hand. Just make sure you're mixing it very well. Or if you just have a hand mixer, you can use that as well in like a medium to large size bowl. So in my stand mixer, what we're going to add some applesauce. And this I'm using instead of pumpkin, because this was a recipe for apple pumpkin, but I'm just making it straight apple. So I'm going to add my applesauce. And then I'm going to add my sugar. And then we're just going to mix it on about medium speed until it's well combined. The recipe says about 2 minutes if you're using the pumpkin, but I'm probably just going to combine it for about a minute. And at the end of that minute, I'm just going to add my 1 egg. So now this is mixed all together very nicely with the applesauce instead of pumpkin, with the sugar, and the 1 egg that we added. I'm also halving these recipes because I'm going to be making 3 muffin recipes, and I don't need 40 muffins around the house because I'll eat them all in one day. So now that this is nice and combined, we're going to add the applesauce that is already called for in the recipe, as well as some coconut oil, and we're just going to mix this until it's well combined. I just have this going on medium, on about low speed just to mix it. So I'm gonna add my vanilla extract. And then once that is all nice and combined, I'm gonna start slowly adding my dry mixture. And we're gonna mix this just until it's combined. You don't wanna over mix it because then you're going to get dense, over mixed muffins, and we don't want that. Once this is all combined, you just want to take a rubber spatula and scrape down the sides. And then once you scrape down the sides, we're just going to mix it again just until it's incorporated. Now I'm just going to take my pre-greased pan. You can use cupcake liners for this, but I just greased it with some cooking spray, and I'm going to fill the muffin pan until they are about 3/4 full. So I'm going to use about 1/3 of a cup. These already smell so delicious. So I'm just gonna give these a slight shake and a little bit of a tap, just to even them out a little bit and see which ones I need to fill. So with this half batch, as you can see, I got about 9 muffins. Like I said, this is a half batch, so if you're making a full batch, you should get about 18. These are gonna go into a 350-degree oven for about 30 to 35 minutes until they're golden brown on top and a toothpick comes out clean. Okay, so while those are in the oven baking up, they have about 20 or so minutes left. We're gonna work on a no-bake recipe, which I think is perfect for these baking kind of days or afternoons. Then while everything is in the oven, you can still be working on something else. So these are going to be a peanut butter banana energy bite. I've never really made an energy bite before, so I'm super excited for this recipe. So to begin, we're gonna take 2 cups of bananas and we're going to mash these. Now, a very easy way I found to mash bananas is going to be I just have them in my Pyrex 2-cup measuring cup. And I'm gonna take a beater from a hand mixer and just kind of mash them. Now these are still probably a little bit unripe. They weren't very spotty. The spottier your banana, the sweeter the banana is going to be. So that kind of controls how much sweetness is going to be added into these energy bites, in addition to the honey and the other sweeteners that we're going to be adding. Spottier bananas are also a little bit easier to mash up, so just give me a moment. Okay, so these bananas are pretty well mashed up. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of out of breath now, but like I said, the spottier your banana, the easier this step is going to be. We're gonna take these bananas and transfer them into a large mixing bowl. You can also just mash the bananas right in here, but like I said, I find it easiest in a smaller bowl, like a Pyrex. So we're just gonna transfer those right in there. Smells good, doesn't look the best, but that's just bananas for you. And to those 2 large bananas, I'm going to be adding some oats. We do have an extra step to do for these oats because I only have old-fashioned oats and the recipe calls for rolled oats. So something very easy, much like the other recipe that we did. So I'm gonna put them in my NutriBullet, pulse them for a couple times, and then it'll be good to go. Now I'm not gonna pulse them very much. I only did 4 pulses because I still like the bigger texture and consistency of old-fashioned oats. But like I said, if you don't like that, use rolled oats, use quick cooking oats, whatever you deserve, but I like that texture that it would give. So I'm gonna add those 2 cups of oats right into there. And then into this, it's great because you just kind of put everything into here. We are going to add your peanut butter, your almond butter, any kind of nut butter that you want. I have 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and 2 tablespoons of almond butter because I couldn't decide. So I'm gonna add that right into here. And then also we're gonna add our sweetener, which is going to be our honey. I have a 1/4 cup of honey. And honey is really hard to get out of bowls. So something that I did was just spray the bowl down first with just some cooking spray, and that's gonna make it super easy to just glide right on out of there. Let me look at that. I barely even need a spatula to help me. Next, we're gonna add just a little bit of cinnamon. I'm not measuring this out or anything. I'm just adding about maybe a teaspoon of cinnamon, whatever I want. And then you can add your extra mix-ins. You can add any sort of dried fruit into here, whole nuts if you want to add any nuts. I'm adding a generous 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips right into there. And then all we're gonna do from here is grab a bigger spatula, because I don't think this little one is gonna cut it, and then mix it up. You can also use a wooden spoon to mix this if you want, either one, whichever you prefer. As you can maybe see, I still have some chunks of bananas. So what I'm doing is just taking my spatula and kind of mushing them down on the bowl to try to get them breaking up a little bit more. And again, this is because my bananas were really unripe still. They were yellow, had a little bit of spots, but if they have more spots, the less you're gonna have to kind of break down your bananas. Okay guys, last step in this super easy no-bake recipe is gonna be taking this mixture and forming it into balls, placing it onto a parchment sheet, putting it in a freezer, a fridge, just so that they harden, and then they're done. So what I have here is about a 1 tablespoon measuring cookie scoop. So I'm gonna use 2 of these and shape them into balls, put them on a parchment lined baking sheet. And I'm telling you guys, cookie spray seems to be the genius of this video, the hack of the day. I sprayed some on my cookie sheet before I put the parchment down, and it just helps it stick a little bit better so that the parchment isn't going everywhere. So let's get the shaping. This would also be something super fun to do with any kiddos that you might already have around the house. They can help you kind of roll out these energy bites then too. So now that I have these all rolled out, I'm just gonna go place them in my big deep freeze until they just solidified. And then once they're all done and frozen, I'm gonna transfer them into a gallon-sized bag, probably keep them into the freezer until I need them. And I'm not gonna lie, this is a perfect recipe if you're expecting and making these, because you can lick the bowl because there's no eggs. So good. So for my next recipe, I'm going to be making some pumpkin spice cookies, and I'm so excited for these two because it's perfect, because my baby's coming around the fall time. I love fall, I love pumpkin spice, everything, so I'm super excited. And this one's fairly easy and straightforward too. So in this large bowl, I have my flour, and to this we're going to add all of our dry ingredients. So we're going to add our flour, our oats, sugar, and then in here, again, I have the flaxseed that's called for in the recipe, and a little bit of extra to substitute for the brewer's yeast, as well as my pumpkin pie spice, salt, and baking soda. We're gonna put this in here, and we're just gonna mix these until it's nice and combined, and with that, I'm just gonna use like a wooden spatula. I'm gonna use my whisk that's right over there, so I don't have to make another thing dirty. So we're just gonna mix this and make a mess until it is nice and combined. All right, so that looks nice combined. And then we're gonna realize that this bowl is gonna be too small and put it in a bigger bowl. So, dry ingredients we're gonna set to the side. Add your brown sugar to that bowl too. Don't forget about the brown sugar. So let's remix this. So that's mixed very well, we're gonna set it off to the side. In this small bowl, we're going to combine all of our wet ingredients. We're going to start with our pumpkin puree. And this recipe is pretty easy because it just calls for 1 can of pumpkin puree, which is going to be a 15-ounce can. And then to this, we're going to add 1 egg, our vanilla extract, and then our softened butter. And my butter wasn't completely softened, So what I did is I cut it up into cubes. You can also grate it, but I cut it up into cubes and then just placed it on top of my stove while it was a little bit warm, just to soften it up. And then with this mixture, we're just gonna take it, and I'm just gonna use my hand blender and then mix this until it's really well combined. All right, so now that that is splattered everywhere successfully, we're gonna take this and slowly combine it in with our dry ingredients. I'm probably gonna do about half of it first and then mix it and then mix the other half. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is take our prepared baking tray. I just have my baking sheet again, but I have it lined with my reusable kind of silicone baking sheet. We're gonna use the same 1 tablespoon cookie dough scooper and just kind of scoop them out and evenly spaced on the mat. And then these are gonna go into a 350-degree oven for 15 minutes. All right, you guys, so it's a new day, and now we're gonna move on to our pumpkin spice muffins. And these I'm so excited for because pumpkin spice is literally my favorite thing. So we're gonna start with a large bowl, and we're gonna combine all of our dry ingredients. So we have our oat flour, and this, again, I just took my oats, put them in my NutriBullet, and then blended them up. About 1 cup of oats will equal 1 cup of oat flour if you grind them yourself. Next into the bowl is going to go your baking powder, baking soda, salt, and pumpkin pie spice, as well as your ground flaxseed. And then I added the extra flaxseed because I do not have the Brewer's yeast, so that's going to all go in here. Just going to give that a good whisk and combine it all together. And once that's combined, we're just going to set it to the side. Then in a medium bowl, we're going to mix all of our wet ingredients. So that's going to be our milk and our oil, pumpkin puree, vanilla, 1 egg, and then our brown sugar. And we're just going to give this a good mix. And for this, I'm just using a wooden spoon. Then all we're gonna do is add our wet ingredients into our dry and give it a good mix.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
And then after it's all combined, we're gonna add 1 cup of oats and then mix that in. And I have a pre-greased muffin tin right here. You can add the liners in it again, but I'm just opting not to, so I just greased it really well. I'm gonna add about 1/3 of a cup of a scoop in each one, about filled to the top.
When I'm in this town, look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Lay my troubles to rest. Blow the smoke through my cigarette. City lights looking fine, and I know this is my time now. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive.
The next step from here is just gonna be sprinkling the tops with a little extra bit of raw oats. It'll be really good here to add some pepita seeds or some pumpkin seeds as well right on the top. Anything that you would like, maybe some walnuts, but I really think the combination of the oats and pumpkin seeds would be really, really good. These are going to go in a 375-degree oven for 15 to 18 minutes and then come out when they're nice and golden brown. Okay, and so while those muffins are finishing up in the oven, we're gonna work on our final muffin recipe, and that's gonna be a banana walnut muffin. I'm very excited about this one too. I'm excited about all of them because they're gonna be delicious. But in a large bowl, I'm just using my stand mixer bowl because I don't feel like doing any dishes. We're going to have our mashed bananas, our sugar, our sweetener of choice, cinnamon and salt, 1 egg that's already pre-beaten, melted coconut oil, our vanilla, and I also added just a teeny little bit, like probably not even 1/8 of a teaspoon of banana extract just to give it some extra banana flavor, and then our peanut butter. And we're just gonna give this a good mix. And once this is all mixed, we're just gonna set it to the side really fast. And with our dry ingredients, in here I have my oat flour, my flaxseed that's ground, and then my baking powder, and we're just gonna give this a quick toss, a good mix. And then I'm gonna take this mixture and put it right into my wet ingredients and mix it all together.
I'm out of reasons.
You want to mix it just until it's combined. You don't want to overmix your batters or anything because it's going to cause them not to be able to rise and then become too dense. Same thing with these muffins then. I'm just going to take about a third of a cup scoop and put it right in the muffin tin.
Like you want me, but you're still holding back, Honestly, you're annoying me with the way that you keep playing. Show me your love like it is. Bend open my heart like you're fearless. Steal all the gold you can get. Show me your love, leave me breath.
Now for an optional touch, I'm going to top these with some walnuts just because I like the banana walnut bread. So just a few walnuts on each of the tops. If you like some other nut to put on top, go ahead, do that. But I kind of think banana and walnut is so traditional. You can even add these into the batter if you would like to as well. Okay, and then these are gonna go into a 420-degree oven for about 6 minutes, but then you're gonna drop the temperature to 350 and have them in there for about 20 minutes. This is gonna allow to give them a good rise and a good puff with the really hot temperature of the oven, and then it's gonna allow them to kind of cook through with the 350-degree oven. Okay. Oh my god. Alright you guys, so that ends today's video. These goodies seriously smell so delicious. My house smells amazing, just like fall. I'm so glad this little one is coming into fall time so I can live out my pumpkin spice dreams, and it is absolutely amazing. But these desserts all smell so good. Not desserts, just snacky food smells so good. What I'm going to do with these is store everything in the freezer. That way it will last for a good amount of time. I don't need to necessarily worry about it expiring or anything like that. I would say it lasts about 2 to 3 months in the freezer if you keep it obviously in the freezer. The muffins, you can either just defrost overnight, you can thaw them out overnight, or actually what I'm probably going to do is throw it in my air fryer that's back there. Anything is better in the air fryer. Cookies, you can just leave those out for a few minutes and they can kind of thaw out. Same as the energy bites. Those will take really not that long to just kind of get nice and cool, like a nice cold energy bite, which I think is going to be great. If you liked today's video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, as well as leave a suggestion down in the comments if you want to see any more of these kind of baking, cooking videos. I would love to do some more for you. Leave down in the comments what you would like to see from me as far as any recipes that you would like or hacks to try, anything like that. So like I said, make sure to hit that big thumbs up button. It really helps me out with this algorithm going on with YouTube, and hit the notification bell as well and the subscribe button so that you are notified of every time that I upload a video. I am going to try to kind of be uploading a little bit more consistently now. I'm going to try to do once a week. I can't guarantee which day. I think I'm going to be thinking maybe like a Monday upload, something like that. So like I said, make sure to hit that notification bell so that you are notified of every time I upload a video. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.